Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on when you are watching this live or watching this replay. So I said I was going to do this, so I'm finally doing it. This video concerning um, this big beautiful bill, or some people call it this big mess, this big ugly bill. It depends on how you feel about it. So let me start by saying that my stand on how I feel about the election and um, this the person we have as our president, the orange one, um, hasn't changed. It don't change, and I hesitated to do this video because I was concerned about what people were going to think. I don't want them to think that I'm a supporter now, because I'm not. I don't want them to think I'm laying down, or I'm, you know, or I'm what's the word? The word that come to me. I don't want to hold this video too long trying to think of the word I'm trying to use. But I was concerned about people thinking that I was just I can't think of the word, that I was becoming a supporter. It's basically, and then the word will come to me later. I think that at some point we just have to understand that something is the way it is what it is, and that we have to find a way to survive it. We have to find a way to get along and survive it. I've been watching a lot of people. Good morning, Bourbon Bubblegum. I've been watching a lot of people use this election and this big beautiful bill and things that has been happening since the outcome of the election, then using it as doom and gloom. Some people on purpose, some people not meaning to. That's just the way they feel about this new administration, or this incoming administration. He ain't new. Um, some people do it because that's just the way they feel. They're upset about it. They're not happy about it. And I'm not either. Some people using it as doom and gloom, and just to I don't know, stick it to people. Different reactions, but at this point, we gotta survive. We just have to survive it. I was telling a couple of friends that I don't have the luxury. What's going on in my life, with the concerns that I have with things that's going on in my life directly, family members and things like that. I don't have the luxury of holding on to anger. I don't have the luxury of adding a new anxiety or a new worry to my life. I don't have that luxury. That's not an option for me. So the one thing that I have learned how to do over the course of my life is how to survive something, how to get through it. I had to learn that when I had a child that was disabled, that's autistic. I had to learn that when something rare happened to my daughter, AVM, and she had to have brain surgery, and all that went along with that. I had to learn how to move forward, and to deal with my anxiety I do have anxiety, and how to survive whatever it is that's coming at me. So I want to encourage you to do the same. So this video is inspired by that. I'm not laying down and accepting. I'm not a supporter, but I'm just going to talk about ways to move along and survive what's going on. Okay. Good morning, Jane Farmer. Thank you, from Arkansas, new watcher. Thank you. Good morning, Red Wings Hockey, my boo. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. And please double tap. If you double tap it, it'll give me a like. Share it out if you can. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for coming in. Consider joining the membership. My goal is to get 100 members. That's my goal. Or 10 members. That's my goal. Right now, my goal is to get one member at a time. And please subscribe if you haven't. Consider subscribing to the channel. So let's go ahead and get started so this don't be long. So the one big beautiful act, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the thing I like about this lady is I follow her on TikTok. And what I like about her is that when this bill was going through uh, this first the branches of government to get passed, her first reaction was, "I don't like this. I'm a senior. This is not going to be good for me." But was her reaction after it passed. Check this out.
You just establish a password, a user ID, and password. Now that this big, beautiful, ugly bill has been passed into law, there are things that we can do right now to help ourselves until we can make them pay 2026. One thing is to go into ChatGPT, and if you don't know how to do that, you can go through Google, say find ChatGPT. Once you find it, log onto it. It's not going to hurt you. Just establish a password, a user ID and password. Then I want you to say, "Help me with this big, beautiful bill, and show me ways to flip it upside down to make it work for me." By me, I'm saying African American person, Black American person, Hispanic person, or whatever your nationality is. And it will give you some ideas. Once you get those ideas, then I want you to implement them. Also, how it help you in 2026, we're going to make them pay.
So, like I said, what I like about this lady is that she, after being upset about it, after saying the things she didn't like about it on her plays, and please go subscribe to her on TikTok at Gail Bentley, at Gail Bentley O. Okay? So check her out. Go find her on TikTok and subscribe to her and follow her. After she was upset about it, complained about it, and once she realized this is it. This is what we gonna have. This thing gonna be done. She said, go find ways to make it work for you. Y'all, if it's nearly 1,000 pages, I think, or over 1,000 pages, a little under or whatever. Put it in, and I don't know how to use these things too well yet. I'm still learning, but put it in Chat GPT and put it in AI and put it in that and let it break it down. Let that, whatever that body is, let that bot break it down for you, because I'm still going through this bill. I am still going through this bill to see what's in it, how I can make it work for me, how it's to my advantage, how it's to my disadvantage, how it will affect my family. So I encourage you to do that too.
Bill just dropped, and some people ain't too happy about it, but others are positioning themselves to win. If you a business owner in 2025, there go three things that you need to go do. Number one, get your business digitally compliant. That means stop mixing your business and your personal together. Go get an LLC, go open up a business bank account, do whatever it takes, because those are the people that they funded. Number two, automate and systemize your business. That means you can use things like Go High Level, Calendly, Google, anything that helps you automate your sales, leads, and customer followers. Number three, go get the money. See, and this bill is going to unlock some grants, government contracts, small and minority business owners are going to be able to get certified. Just make it happen. Because if you ain't moving smart in 2025, you are going to get left behind. Follow for more to future-proof your business.
So y'all, as this gentleman said, make it work. And the lady before that, make this bill work for you. You can be upset about it. You can let it. You can let it bring you fear. You can get afraid, but position yourself to let this bill work for you. Put yourself at find a way to put yourself at advantage. I'm about to give a very bad example of finding a way to put yourself at advantage. I'm gonna give a bad example. Back when our ancestors were slaves, and they were giving the scraps, or giving the bad part of the food. They took them hog intestines and they made what we know now as chitlins. Now everybody eat chitlins. Not everybody. Some of y'all don't eat it. Y'all think it's gross. I understand, but I eat chitlins. But my point is that chitlins sells now for $19 for a small bag, depending on where you are here in North Carolina. My point is that they took them intestines and made chitlins, and they ate. Okay, and they ate and they survived. My point is, you got to find ways to survive this. You got to find ways to bring it to your advantage. You got to find what in it works for you and what in it does not work for you. Get ahead of it. Be proactive rather than reactive. Get ahead of it. Be prepared. That's my point. So let's talk about this bill a little bit. We're going to come back to this guy. I'm going to come back to him. I'm going to come back to him. So this is going to be out of order, but it's just going to be basically talking about some of the things in the bill because I am still myself going through the bill. Okay. So Tabitha Justice, and I'm on purpose leaving all the people's names in here because I want y'all to go look them up. I want y'all to check them out. I want y'all to consider subscribing to them. Tabitha Justice says, I've been getting a ton of messages from people asking if they're going to lose their Medicaid or SNAP. Y'all know that SNAP is food stamps. Right now, I get it. The news has been confusing and there's a lot of fear floating around. There's a lot of people that's doom and gloom. I call them the doom and gloom people. They do content on they're going to take your Medicaid. They're going to take your EBT. They're going to take your, y'all going to lose your jobs. But they don't even try to come up with any solutions, any inspiration, anything. They just doom and gloom. And listen, I'm not trying to judge you, but I'm judging you. So so Tabitha Justice said, so let me explain this as simply and honestly as I can. First, some good news. You will not lose your Medicaid or SNAP benefits this year because of this bill. Your health coverage and food assistance are safe for now. This bill does not go into effect until 2026. Now, y'all can drop in the comments or in the live and tell me when in 2026, but it does not go into effect immediately. So again, be proactive rather than reactive. Get ahead of it. See what you need to do for you and yours. To get into to protect yourself and to prepare yourself for this incoming bill. But here's the tough part. The bill is designed to save money by making it harder for people to get and keep their health care and food help. And the biggest changes are coming over the next few years. Also, quick reminder, like everything Tabitha Justice posted, this is just facts. This is not a political debate. Any political arguments or comments will be deleted. So when you go over there to Tabitha, she gonna delete when you start debating and getting ugly, she gonna delete your stuff. Over here at Cruiser, if you get disrespectful and go too far, I'm gonna delete yours too. Y'all know I don't play that. I know I've tried to change my commentary, but I am who I am now. Don't be coming over here messing with me. You say something to me, I'm gonna say something back. Anyway, so it is what it is. It's coming. Prepare for it. Put yourself at some type of advantage. Know what it is. Know what you need to do. There's some paperwork that's going to be required. Find out what that paperwork is. Find out what them websites is. Just be prepared for it. Don't let it hit you. Don't. This is not the time for procrastination. If you got a procrastination spirit, get rid of it. What's coming? Medicaid health insurance. Starting 2026, a lot of adults on Medicaid will have to work, volunteer, or go to school at least 80 hours a month to keep their coverage. There are exceptions. Seniors, people with disabilities, parents with young kids. But every state gets to handle this differently. So it may be not clear cut for everyone. Find out what the laws are in your state. A lot of this stuff is they give federal money to states, and then states is responsible for some of it and maybe how it's governed. So find out what it is. Also find out if you're on Medicaid or Medicare or anything like that. And I'm not really versed on Medicaid and Medicare. I'm just getting in my mind that Medicare is for seniors and Medicaid is for other people who are disabled that are not seniors. So I'm just being able to know the difference or remember the difference in that. So I'm not real versed or educated in that, but know what it is in your state. Know what it's called. Because in every state, it's not really, it may be called something else. It's got different names in different states. So know what the name of it in your state is for you, okay? And how it works if it's something that you work for. Right now, there are extra discounts that help lower the cost of ACA health plans. These discounts end after 2025. So for a lot of folks, health insurance will get more expensive starting in 2026. Again, prepare yourself. Understand what's coming and prepare yourself. The bigger cuts is coming in 2028 and beyond. The bill also brings some deeper changes that could seriously impact families. Okay. So By 2028, states will get less federal money to run the Medicaid programs. That puts states in a tough spot. They may have to make it harder to qualify, add more confusing rules and paperwork. That's why I say understand the paper, learn the paperwork, understand how the paperwork is changing. Don't procrastinate. Stay on top of it. Um, Add more confusing rules and paperwork. I apologize for the notifications, y'all. And cut back on coverage or charge people more out of pocket. Good morning, everybody coming in. I'm trying to stay focused because sometimes I get off focus and I'll start a sentence and not finish a sentence. So I'm going to just give a general good morning. Thank you for coming in. Please double tap. Please double tap. Hit that like button, please. Here's the real problem. The bill pushes more of the Medicaid costs onto states, but most states, especially rural ones like West Virginia, don't have extra money to cover that. So they're left with impossible choices, raising taxes, cutting other services, or limiting how many people can get help. That's the issue. How this hurts rural hospitals. Our small town hospitals and clinics rely on Medicaid funding to stay open. In some areas, in some of your states, y'all got enough money. Y'all hospitals doing fine. But in some rural areas or small towns, they depend on Medicaid to keep funding. If fewer people qualify or if the state can't afford to properly fund Medicaid, you'll start seeing the services cut back. So that is the concern with that. So I'm going to pivot here and play something that may not be so nice, or some of you might watch this guy, his tone, the video I'm about to play, his tone may be offensive. What he's saying, it may be offensive. How it may be offensive, but I'm going to play it. And I'm going to tell y'all up front. When I first listened to this guy, I said, what a Uncle Tom. And I use that word incorrectly because we often use, if you read Uncle Tom's Cabin, then we often use that term Uncle Tom incorrectly. But anyway, let me get to the video. Let me go back up and listen to this dude.
I just read all 954 pages of Donald Trump's big beautiful bill, and what are y'all tripping about? We've all heard no tax on tips, but Donald Trump wants no tax on overtime pay and no tax on the interest paid on loans taken out for American-made cars. Not only is that a good incentive to buy an American-made car, but it helps the car manufacturers in America as well. Hello! Also, if you got a kid, Donald Trump is raising the child tax credit from $2,000 to $2,200. This bill isn't just about taxes. Donald Trump is strengthening up our border as well. You remember that wall Donald Trump wanted to build during his first presidency between Mexico and America? It didn't get built the first time, but it's getting built now. On top of that, Donald Trump isn't requiring us taxpayers to fund benefits for undocumented immigrants. Are you okay with someone breaking the law by entering our country and then taking your taxpayer dollars? I'm not! This bill also provides billions for our military. New ships, new submarines, we're getting new missile defense, the Iron Dome. We're about to be impenetrable as a nation. We're already number one, but it's just like sprinkles on a sundae. I know I haven't talked about Medicaid yet, but I want it to be its own video because I don't think y'all know what Medicaid is. Now, I honestly can go on and on about this bill, but it's hot as fuck in this car, and as you can see, I'm sweating my ass off. If y'all want to park...
So, like I told y'all, for some of y'all, his voice may not be annoying, but for me, his voice was very annoying, condescending. I didn't like his tone, but he did bring out some good points. He did bring out a point that the bill have some things in it that may help some of us. Overtime pay, $12,500, and that starts for the 2025 tax year. $12,500 for a deduction on overtime pay for those who make but you got to make under a certain amount of money. Like, I don't know how much under, but you can look it up, how much under you got to make. And really, this is $25,000 if you're a married couple. So $12,500 for single, $25,000 for married couple. And they're just going to deduct this to make your tax liability lower. That helps some people. In fact, I'm trying to think of how I could take some of my bonus pay and turn it into overtime pay and flip it and get that deductions. Tell the Lord thank you. Also, he mentions no tax on tips. No tax on tips. Again, there's a cap on your income level of how much you can make before that helps you, but no tax on tips helps some people. Um, Now, if you depended on tips to raise your income to a certain amount to help you get earned income credit, not so much. But I used to work at this place years ago called Seller Antons. Seller Antons used to be on Battleground in Greensboro, and my I used to make as much tips as some people made on their regular job. Um, I could leave a night with $200 in tips on a 4-hour shift. And sometimes that was with only 2 tables. This was a high tipping place. I used to work down in the cellar. The Cellar Antons had a top part, and then they had what they call a cellar. And the place was so neat. They would send the food down to us in a little, like, y'all remember those laundry elevators or laundry? Anyway, they would send. That's how they would send the food down. But down in the cellar, down in the cellar is where we entertain. You might get a table where you had that table where the people sat there for over 2 hours and they wanted you to sing and everything else. You entertain that table, and and 200 was kind of on the low end. This was back in the 90s. This was back in the 90s. So tips could really run you up. So if you work at a place like that where you could get pretty good tips, that tip deduction can help you. He also talked about a tax deduction on buying a car. Used to be you couldn't carry any tax deductions on buying a car unless that car was for business use. But anybody, even if you don't own a business, you can do a tax deduction on a car. Now, some people complain and say, "Well, you got to make $100,000 to do it." A lot of y'all make $100,000. I had to just say to one of my friends, "Are you in here?" I had to just say, "You know good and darn well you make $100,000. You make them 6 figures, boy, girl, wait." Stop playing. And I know our concern is beyond ourselves. Okay, maybe you got it. Maybe I got it. Maybe she got it. Maybe he got it. But our concerns is beyond ourselves. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But we're talking about some things that you can reach in here and take advantage of. So you go out and buy an American-made car. Now, there is some restrictions on which car you can buy. But you go out here and you buy an American-made car. There's a tax deduction on that. There is a tax deduction on that. And I think I got something to listen to. Hold on, let me see if I can find it concerning the car to explain that a little bit better. I think. Let's hope. Yes, concerning the car. It may not open for me. I thought I did, but I don't. I thought I did, but I don't. So, and I may share it on a separate video concerning the car, and I had a video that breaks down, but my technology is not wanting me to be great right now, so it's not allowing me to play it. But I had a video on how it breaks down for both the car and here it is. Yep, here it is.
Here's how it affects buying cars. I'm not here to get political. I'm not going to say it's a good thing, a bad thing, whatever it is. I'm just here to tell you how it is going to affect you and how you purchase vehicles. There are 2 big changes that you need to be aware of whenever you're purchasing a vehicle, and they both kind of go with each other. Number 1 is if your vehicle that you purchased this year is produced in the United States of America, all the interest is deductible on your taxes. That is up to $10,000, and it goes away if you're like a single person making over $100,000 a year. There are some stipulations to it, but car interest is deductible on your taxes for vehicles made in the United States. For Ford, that would apply to everything except for the Mavericks, the Bronco Sports, and the Mach-E's, which are all made in Mexico. Speaking of the Mach-E's, here is the second thing that is changing. With this bill passing, they basically got rid of the CAFE standards, which as a sports car guy, thank God. But with the CAFE standards going away, they also got rid of the big tax deduction that comes with purchasing an electric vehicle. So I believe it's September that is now going away. So if you're looking to buy an EV and get the tax savings with it, I would suggest buying one here very, very soon. But let's backpedal a little bit to the CAFE standards. CAFE is basically the big emissions laws that automakers have to go by. There's a certain standard you have to go by with your miles per gallon and emissions and all that stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. But basically, as a brand, you have to be below a certain average of miles per gallon. That's kind of a rough way of explaining it. But those standards are why we saw the big push for electric from the automakers here over the past 4 or 5 years. And now with those standards going away and the tax rebates going away, I don't think we're going to see very many electric cars from here on out. They'll still be around.
So is that why Trump and Elon Musk is beefing? But anyway, so you heard him say some of the things. You have to make $100,000. He said single, but I think that could be married too. But anyway, and I got to go back and find out what the amount of the car is. Because this is going to cause my daughter about to get her car. I want that deduction. But I need to find out what the amount of the car. I know it have to be an American car. I have to find out does it have to be brand new? Does it have to be a certain amount? To get that deduction. So y'all check that out if you were planning on buying a car. And then I talked about overtime tax. Let me see if I have a video on that. Let's see if we have a video on that. Please hit that like button, and thank y'all so much for joining me and enduring with me with this. Been wanting to talk about this, but I was concerned I had to get over how I felt like y'all were going to feel about me talking about this. I'm talking about this because I'm saying use it to your advantage. Be proactive. Do what you need to do. Okay. This is concerning the overtime.
Do a couple case studies on it so you know what's going on with the one big beautiful tax bill. Here's a quick chart for you. Before we had no legislation on overtime, now you may be able to deduct up to $12,500 of your overtime pay as a single filer, but we're going to walk through some income limits before we get to that. Here's the income limits: $150,000 or $300,000 single versus married filing jointly. That's when it starts to phase out. You can take the $12,500 for a single filer or double it, $25,000 if you are married filing jointly. I feel like people learn better from examples, so I'm going to do a 1 week example and then an end of the year one. In this 1 week, I'm going to assume you make $20 an hour. You work 40 hours. That's normal, 40 hours full work week. Your OT is time and a half, $30 an hour, and you worked 10 hours of OT this week. So your normal pay, $800, is just the $20 an hour times the 40 hours worked. The OT pay is the $30 an hour times the 10 hours worked, okay? Now here's the thing with this bill. You cannot take the full $300 as part of your new deduction. You can only take what's called the premium rate, which is $10 in this case, because the premium you're being paid to work overtime is the $30 an hour minus the $20 an hour. So that $10 an hour difference is what you can deduct. So the $10.
So that made a lot of sense to me. So you're not taking the whole time and a half. You're taking the deduction is just what the half is. The half is because it like in the example that he used, if you make $20 an hour, but overtime it goes up to bump up to $30 an hour. The deduction comes with only the $10 an hour. But regardless what it is. A lot of times people say, I don't want to work no overtime. I don't want to work no overtime. Oh, God, if I had $1 for every time I heard that. All it's going to do is put me in a new tax bracket. It's going to raise my tax liability. It's going to raise my taxes. Well, this may help you. This may help you. So I wanted to talk about that. Now I wanted to go back to the video of the young man that I find a little condescending, a little annoying. Because I want to give the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I wanted to hear from people who actually like the bill as well as people who think the bill is not going to be that good for us. Hold on, I lost my place here. Y'all give me a minute. Okay. So let's go back to that young man. And y'all check him out too.
Donald Trump's one big beautiful bill is making Medicaid great again. But millions are losing their health insurance. Yeah, 1.4 million of those people are undocumented immigrants. Why are they getting Medicaid in the first place? First off, Medicaid isn't just for everybody to have free health insurance. What the fuck is this, Canada? Medicaid is a state and federal program that provides health insurance for
Let me stop right there. When it comes to health insurance, I wish it was Canada. Go ahead, young man.
Americans in need. Pregnant women, children, people with disabilities, adults with low income, parents with low income. Medicaid is never the goal. It's something to help you out when you need it. You're not supposed to need it forever. That goes for all government assistance, not just Medicaid. Now that we know what Medicaid is, the one big beautiful bill requires people that want it to work 80 hours for it. You want to get some free shit, then put some hours in. Also, because of Donald Trump's bill, if you have $1 million home, you can't be on Medicaid anymore. And why would you be? We know that Medicaid's for the needy. Do you think people with $1 million homes should be eligible for Medicaid? That doesn't make sense to me. Donald Trump doesn't want us Americans sitting on our ass collecting a check from the government. He wants you to go out and get it. Be great. I agree. Go chase after the American dream. Stop sitting bitching about government assistance. Go assist yourself. Keep it up, Donald Trump. Ow! There is so much to unpack with this bill, but y'all see this.
He is so freaking annoying. But and when y'all watch this live, make sure you wait till the comments upload. There's some good comments in the chat that due to time, and I'm trying to stay focused that I'm not able to read, but there are excellent comments in the chat. So make sure those comments, you wait for those comments to load. And thank you so much, Bourbon Bubblegum. I appreciate you this morning. So that is his take on, the Medicaid thing. Yes, it's going to make some people that can work work or volunteer 80 hours a month. I think it is $80, 80 hours a month. Yeah, it has to be a month. It couldn't be a week. 80 hours a month. Now that may be challenging for some people. Some people have a disability or illness where they cannot work. It's not possible for them. They're saying that there is paperwork that those people will be able to do to verify that they cannot work, and then that they will be exempt from that rule. And how that would work in each state, I don't know. But again, please get in front of it. Try to find out, so when it comes to that, when it happens, or if you're doing it for a loved one, you will be ready. I have a child that's disabled. I have an adult 31, soon to be 31-year-old son that's disabled. I'm going to find out how that works in my state and how that will affect him and what paperwork I need to do. Now he's able to work 80 hours. He's able to volunteer. So, I need to just stay on top of that. And that's what I'm saying in this video today. Know it, stay on top of it, and see what you can do to make it to your advantage and make it work for you. Let me play this other video if I am able to concerning seniors. And there are some advantages in this for seniors, and hopefully I'll be able to get to that also. But let me play this right here.
Here's a clear, balanced breakdown of how President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act affects seniors. First, let's look at the advantages for older Americans. Seniors age 65 and older will receive a bigger tax deduction on their Social Security. The bill gives them an extra $6,000 standard deduction, potentially shielding more of their Social Security income from taxes.
So let me stop right there. Let me give you an example of that. My parents are obviously seniors. I'm soon to be 55 years old, so they're obviously retired seniors collecting Social Security. But my parents don't like to sit at home. Every time my dad just won't. He just keeps working. He just keep working. Right now, his little part-time job is off for a little while, and so he's done came to my house and cleaned out my garage and cleaned off my whole patio. I mean, he cut down all them trees back there and everything back there, because he have to do something. He have to keep moving. He don't like to sit at home. My mom will sit at home for 2 or 3 days, and then she'll start saying she's bored and she needs to do something. I need something to do. So my parents, for the most part, still work and earn money. on like a part-time basis. That could affect their retirement because they also get retirement checks. Okay, so now when tax time come, how is that going to affect them during tax time? Well, with this new law, they can take up to $6,000, and I got to find out whether that's $6,000 each for a married. So is it $12,000 that they can take as a deduction working? That's something I have to find out. Again, find out how this big, beautiful, ugly ass rule work for you. Find out what how you can make it work for you.
The White House estimates that 88%. Here's a clear, balanced breakdown of how President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act affects seniors. First, let's look at the advantages for older Americans. Seniors age 65 and older will receive a bigger tax deduction on their Social Security. The bill gives them an extra $6,000 standard deduction, potentially shielding more of their Social Security income from taxes. The White House estimates that 88% of seniors will pay zero income tax on their Social Security, up from about 64% now. For example, Martha, age 68, is widowed and lives on a $50,000 annual Social Security income. Under the bill, the larger deduction means she pays no federal income tax, saving her several $100s a year. Second, there are no direct cuts to Medicare. The bill does not reduce Medicare benefits or change eligibility. For instance, Robert, age 72, continues to receive the same coverage for doctor visits, hospital stays, and prescriptions under Medicare Parts A and B. Now let's talk about the disadvantages and...
Now, those of you who have senior parents or senior yourself, I need y'all to look up Medicare Part D. Because under Medicare Part D, there's going to be a cap on once you hit $2,000 of money that you pay out of pocket for medicine. No matter how much medicines you need beyond that, you won't have to pay for it. Look that up. Fact check me. Look that up. That's under Medicare Part D. I was just hearing that somewhere as I'm listening to information, and I did kind of look it up myself, and it was there. But y'all can look it up to get a better understanding of
risks.
that.
The bill cuts roughly $1 trillion from Medicaid, impacting about 10 to 12 million people, including many seniors. It also imposes work or reporting requirements, more frequent eligibility checks, and new restrictions on immigrant access. For example, Linda, age 70, is a low-income senior in a Medicaid expansion state. She could lose her coverage if her state tightens its workforce checks or eligibility reviews. There's also higher long-term pressure on Social Security and Medicare. The bill's tax cuts add between $2.4 and $2.8 trillion to the deficit and may accelerate the insolvency of Social Security and Medicare by about 1 year, now possibly around 2032. This means future retirees may see reductions in benefits or increased premiums if the trust funds run out earlier. The benefits are also skewed toward wealthier seniors. Those who already do not pay taxes on Social Security, about 64%, see little extra benefit, while wealthier retirees realize larger gains. For example, Jake and Susan, both age 75 with $120,000 in combined income, might get $6,000 to $12,000 in tax savings, while their neighbor Gloria, age 67, on $30,000 sees no change. In summary, what can seniors expect? Most middle-class retirees will see lower taxes on Social Security. Medicare remains safe for now, with direct benefits intact, but long-term stability is at risk. Medicaid reductions could hurt low-income seniors who depend on the program for care. And the added debt pressure may threaten program funding down the road. In simple terms, if you're a middle-class senior, you'll likely save money on taxes. But if you're low-income and rely on Medicaid, you might lose coverage or face stricter rules. Plus, the huge debt increase may mean tighter future benefits for all seniors. Here's a clear, balanced breakdown.
So, in this video, I wanted to like the thumbnail says, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not leaving anything out. So it gave that video that I just shared gave the good points and what's good about it, but it also gave the bad points and what's bad about it. So, like I said, I want to be add in as much information as I can. I do allow and welcome corrections, because I don't want to give any bad or wrong informations. I just don't want to give any bad information. So So that's some of the information on the Medicare, and we went on Medicare and Medicaid and seniors. We talked about SNAP benefits already, um, and we talked about concerning the Medicaid and Medicare that it could affect rural hospitals. SNAP, aka food stamps, between 2026 and 2028, new work rules will apply to more people who get SNAP. Older adults between 55 and 64, parents, veterans, even some homeless folks may now have to work to prove that they're trying to work to keep food assistance. Over the next 10 years, the bill cuts more than 200 billion from SNAP, which means states may pass more costs onto the families. It'll be harder to qualify. Millions could lose their food benefits even if they still need help. Experts are estimating somewhere between 5 to 11 billion people could lose SNAP because of these changes. Some of you may say, well, Cruiser, you say be proactive rather than reactive. Well, we're being told that this could happen, that this may happen, that this possibly probably going to happen. So now, as families, if you have loved ones that's on SNAP and EBT, how can you help them? We need to start growing food. We need to start growing food. Growing your own food. Having less need to hit them grocery stores. That's an option. But that's my option. That's my suggestion, or that's one thing that I suggest that we could do. That may or may not work for you. I live down south, and I'm in an area where I have family with land where or a house, where we could grow food. But we have to come up with solutions. I'm giving this information, but we have to come up with solutions too. So, y'all drop down in the comments and tell me what's y'all solutions. What do y'all think is the solution to this? As this thing begins to come into play and happen, and they start making it a little bit harder and cutting some food stamps. What are the solutions? What are the solutions? Who's going to get hit the hardest? Working families trying to stay afloat. Older adults not old enough for Medicare yet. People with disabilities or ongoing health struggles. And y'all know there's a thing called invisible disabilities. Don't ever think that just because you look at somebody and they're not in a wheelchair or they don't have a physical look to them. Disability comes in a lot of forms, and some of them are what's called quote unquote invisible disabilities. You can't see it. You can't detect it with the naked eye, I guess is what I'm saying. Rural communities like ours here in the West Virginia, and this is the person that was talking, they live in West Virginia, where we're already dealing with hospital closures and food insecurity. The bottom line is these cuts are about saving money, but they do it by making it life harder for people who get care. And this is why some people they're really upset about this bill. They're upset about this bill because it's going to make life a little bit harder. Scott Hawksworth said, "The big beautiful bill. Why is it both great and terrible? The truth about the recently signed big beautiful bill is more nuanced than the headlines." More of a nuance, I think is what it says, and definitely more complicated than the tribal cheers or jeers coming from either political corner. Here's why it's worth both celebrating and critiquing. Why is it good? It delivers. This is why it's good. It delivers meaningful tax relief for working families and small businesses, including permanent cut for middle class, overtime and tip exemptions, and expanded tax credits. I think the tax credits raised from $2,000 to $2,500, but those phase out. So you got to take advantage of it while it's there, and try to use that money wisely because it will phase out. It invests heavily in national security, modernizing the military tech, and strengthening border enforcement in ways that many believe are overdue. It streamlines the tax code and makes some temporary 2017 reform permanent, offering stability for planning and growth. Why is it bad? It cuts deeply into Medicaid and food assistance, leaving millions of vulnerable Americans at greater risk. It adds an estimated $3 trillion to the national debt, a burden future generations will carry. It tilts benefits towards the wealthiest household, exacerbating inequality at a time when many are already struggling. It rolls back clean energy incentives just as the world needs to accelerate sustainable solutions. In short, it reflects the values and priorities of one vision of America, but not necessarily the balance and compassion that many hope for. So that gave both good and bad. A call to action: look beyond teams, seek truth, shape better. If you care about this country and you really care, this is the moment to break free of reflexive tribalism. Stop cheering because it came from your team. So this person is saying, listen, put all that politics aside and let's see what we could do to help ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Stop cheering because it came from your team. Stop booing because it came from theirs. If I may say this again, my hesitance to do this video was because I didn't want people who I'm concerned about what they think about me. Because if you ain't close to me or a friend or somebody I look up to, I don't really care what you think about me. But I was concerned about people that I care about. I didn't want them to see me as a supporter of the orange one, or that I was just laying down. I'm just giving in to it. No, stop cheering because it came from your team. Stop booing because it came from theirs. Start asking, does this serve the common good? Does it align with my values for the future generation? Where is it wise and where is it short-sighted? It goes on to say the future isn't written yet. The bill is a chapter. Well, the bill is a chapter, not the whole story. Hold your leaders to account for what's still missing. Praise what works. Advocate where it falls short. Listen, take advantage for what it works for you. Like, I'm going to be looking into that car buying tax credit. I'm going to be seeing how I can somehow pull a rabbit out the hat and take advantage of that overtime. Let me see, can I turn some of this bonus into overtime? I'm going to be looking for ways to take advantage of this, what the changes are. And then I'm going to be trying to be proactive and get away with how it can affect me and those that are close to me that I love. Like I said, using that example of growing food where I don't have to buy food, things like that. Hold your leaders account, and making sure I know what paperwork is going to be required. If you got to prove that you're working or prove that you're doing these 80 hours of volunteer, or if you need to prove that you're disabled or the illness is where you can't work, whatever it is, these requirements, not being procrastinating. Okay. Hold your leaders to account for what's still missing. Praise what works. Advocate where it falls short. Demand policies that lift without crushing others. Your local, because some of this is going to fall on your state government, voting in your state election is going to be very, very important to you. Truth isn't a prop for your side nor a jab for theirs. It's a light to walk by if you're brave enough to face it. Let's be brave. So we got to face this thing right off. It's here. It's what it is. It's reality. So what we going to do? What you going to do? You can be upset. You can be scared. You can be mad. You can be angry. And all of that is not going to change what's here. So you got to see what it is that you could do for you to make this bill work for you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Again, this plan gives some people more money up front, but it takes away foundationally support systems from others. If you're self-sufficient, you might benefit. If you depend on health care assistance, food programs, or climate forward policies, this bill could make things harder for you. So just before I wrap this whole thing up, and again, thank y'all for joining. If you want to be a blessing to the channel, the My Cash App is $ Miss Cruiser, $MSCRUISER. I'll also take thank yous. If you hit the button under there, it gives a thank you. But thank y'all for joining this live. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing. Consider joining the membership. Just to go back over this, some of the things that this does is make 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent. And under that, it keeps lower income tax rates, expand child tax credit, and keeps standard deductions high. New tax deduction tips up to $25,000 and cash tips deductible. Overtime deduct up to $12,500. Car loan interest, certain loans now deductible again. Higher HSA contribution limits, bigger tax shelter for your health savings. Great if you use high deductible health plans. And once you learn this bill and what's in this bill, then that helps you determine even what health plans you're going to go through. I know with our company, the company I work for, we have at least 3 different health plans we can choose from. So, it helps you make that choice, which one is to your advantage. Increased SALT deductions, Medicaid and Medicare changes, work requirement for Medicaid. Adults 18 to 64 must meet work rules to stay covered. Rollback on green energy. Family and future incentives. Trump baby savings. Newborns may get $1,000 deposited into a government-backed savings plan. They expanded education incentives. Keep student loan employers' payment benefit tax-free. But also could add 3.3 trillion to the national debt. Cuts funding to some social programs. Pushes stronger border enforcement and immigration. And so also there's going to be a cap on student loans, like up to $100,000 for some. It seemed like they said if you're going for medical, it could be $100,000, but y'all know how much it costs to go to med school, those type things. So look up what the caps is going to be for student loans. But again, keep in mind the $6,000 tax break for seniors and Medicare drug costs. This is what I was talking about with that Medicare Part D. The cap applies only to Medicare Part D prescription coverage. There's going to be a cap on how much out of pocket that you may pay. So this is not the whole 1,000 page bill. This is just some things. It's just some stuff. I may come back and do a video. If there's any corrections, I could come back and do corrections, or I accept corrections. Just be respectful in the comments, y'all. Just be respectful, and let's come up with ways to help each other and help our loved ones, and use it to your advantage. Find out what works for you and what don't work for you. Find out how you can get in front of it to take care of yourself. Okay? Thank y'all so much. Remember to live in peace on purpose. And also remember that no matter what's going on in your life, I don't care what it looks like, tell yourself, build your faith, tell your mind and your heart all is well until it lines up with your faith and it manifests in your life. Thank y'all again. Appreciate your support.